What's up guys, it's been a while since I posted an OU battle, so I decided to make a new team for OU. I'm on the right side guys, and I have a Sandstorm and Trick Room team. So I get the Sandstorm up and switch out into Fairthorn just to scout out, see what he's going to do. He's going to switch as well, and he has a fighting type, which is pretty bad on my part. So I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave, try to just slow it down, and he goes for the sub, which is really bad. So I'm going to switch out because it's a really bad matchup. I have Cresselia here, which is much better for me. I resist fighting, and I also have super effectiveness on him, Psychic. And he gets a bulk up, which kind of blows, but he has Drain Punch, which tells me he has nothing on Cresselia, while I have the Psychic, so I'm expecting him to be force switched. And yup, I go for the Psychic here, and he does get force switched. And he goes into Latios, which I'm perfectly fine with, because Cresselia has a lot of HP and special defense. I know I could take that Draco Meteor nicely. As you saw there, didn't do too much. And I know most importantly he's going to have his special attack lowered, so I get the screen up, the light screen, and I should have another free turn for him to switch. So I get some of my hit points back. And he does go for the U-turn, which really hurts. I should have switched out, but I figured the Trick Room was more important at the time. So I do get the Trick Room off as he switches into Politoed to change the weather to his side. I do get the Trick Room off, and from there I'm going to switch into my Porygon 2 to take the Hydro Pump, because I do have Light Screen and I do have some special defense on this Porygon 2. So I'm going to go for the Discharge, hoping for some Paralyze, but I don't get it. And Hydro Pump is starting to wear me down, so I'm going to go for the Recover as he switches out into Landorus. And I do get most of my hit points back, so that's really helpful because Porygon is very useful on this team as he has Trick Room as well. He's going to go into Tentacruel, predicting my Ice Beam. And from here I'm not too sure why he stood in, because I do have Discharge and I'm not sure how he was expecting to set up on me. So I'm going to go for Discharge to break his substitute, and he is just going to go for the Giga Drain, which also confused me because that's going to do pretty much nothing with the crit. So I'm going to stay into Discharge, and I do get the Paralyze, very nice. Now I can outspeed this thing, and it could possibly lose a turn. So I'm going to stay into Discharge once again, really wearing this thing out, and I'm expecting him to switch at this point, because one more and he should be going down. So I'm going to go for the Trick Room. I predicted his switch really good because he would have been immune to that Discharge on his Landorus. So now I'm faster than Landorus, but more importantly I have the Ice Beam, 4 times super effective, very nice play. So he's going to go back into his Politoed to go for the Stab Under the Rain, Hydro Pump, and without Light Screen, look how much that does. It almost one-shots Porygon 2, which is amazing. So I'm going to be forced to switch out because I don't want to be taken out. So I have the Water Absorb, which is really good for me. It's going to force him to switch out. So I'm going to take this moment to get the Trick Room back up for my team. So here I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball just to see what he's going to do. Kind of hoping for him to switch. I know he has Giga Drain. So this is actually a really bad matchup for me. So I'm going to have to switch, and I will switch back into Porygon because I know I could take a Giga Drain fairly well. So as you saw there, I do survive, and I'm going to go for the Recover to get my health back. And from there, I'll probably go for the Discharge. Unfortunately for me, he goes for Scald, and it does burn me. That's really bad. And I actually misplay here. I go for the Trick Room as he's paralyzed. So that means he's actually going to outspeed me. So that was pretty bad, I have to say, on my part. So he's going to stay in for the Scald, and I'm really getting hurt here. I'm going to go for the Recover to see if I could still take the hits. He's going to go for the Substitute as I go for another Recover to get all my health back. So at this point, I just want to break his sub and kind of do damage to him, both for some Paralyze, and I do get one there. It's really good, and I do break the sub. Very nice. So now I'm going to try to scare him out, keep going for the Discharge, And yeah, he actually does switch out into Thunderous, expecting the discharge. Very nice play. So at this point, I'm just gonna switch out into Tyranitar to get the Sandstorm up. He goes for the Hidden Power. Not too sure what Hidden Power it was there. I'm gonna go into Tyranitar to scare it, and it works perfectly. I have Pursuit with Life Orb, and I almost one-shot it. Really nice play on my part. He's gonna go into Latios. I'm gonna switch out, and I know I could take a hit. He goes for the Surf, and I get the Water Absorb. Very nice predict on my part. So he's gonna end up switching back into Tentacruel, knowing that he has a perfect advantage in this situation. I'm gonna set up the Trick Room so I can have advantage for my team and immediately switch out. And I'm gonna go into Fairthorn, predicting Giga Drain, and if he goes Scald, it's still not gonna do anything unless he gets a burn. So now I have a pretty good matchup. I'm gonna go for the Stuff Rock so I can finish off Thunderous. It only has 3% left, and now it's pretty much dead. Unless he has Rapid Spin on this Tentacruel, but I don't see it. It seems to be more of an offensive Tentacruel, so I go for the Power Whip expecting more damage done, but it doesn't do too much as I hope for. He's going to be going in for Scald, hoping for the burn. I'm going to go for the Leech Seed to kind of get some health back and hope for a force switch here as I switch out as well. I switch out into my Ghost in case he goes for the Rapid Spin, so I'm immune to it, but he ends up switching out as well, and I know I could go into Cresselia, but for now I'm going to go for the Scout so I can try to hope for the burn, so the bulk up won't do too much, but I forgot it has Dry Skin. You know, I never really versed these things too much. They're barely ever picked in OU tier, and yeah, it was actually a really bad play on my part. So now he's setting up, and he got a free bulk up as I break the sub, so at least I broke the sub. That's pretty important. So he's gonna go for the Sucker Punch as I go for the Trick Room because I need to take this thing out immediately. So I'm gonna switch out into my Ferrothorn because I definitely don't want to be Sucker Punched by this thing. So I'm not too sure what he's gonna do from here, but he ends up switching out knowing he can't do much. So yeah, that's really good. So he goes for the Rapid Spin, which I actually wanted him to do because it's exactly why I have Ferrothorn on this team, to pressure the opponent to go for the Rapid Spin, and I have the Rocky Helmet and my ability, so it's actually a crap load of physical damage. And since he's going to switch out, I'll go for the Stuff Rocks and the T-Wave, so I'm pretty much pressuring him to keep going for the Rapid Spin as I keep doing more and more damage to him. Unfortunately for him, he does miss Focus Blast, but I predicted him going for it again, so I went into my Ghost type, and he actually predicts that and goes for the Thunder, but I don't get one-shotted thanks to my good bulk. I get the Trick Room up, and that will scare him out into Tentacruel, which goes down to the Stuff Rocks as I go for the Shadow Ball. So that was nice. More damage from Stuff Rocks to his Pokemon. And this Pokemon right here is pretty much the main threat on his team. He knows not so many of my Pokemon can take it on, so he gets a sub back up, and the rain is up as well, so it's really bad. So I'm gonna break his sub with the Shadow Ball, and he's setting up with the bulk up, so it's pretty bad right now for me. So he goes for the Sucker Punch, and it does a lot to me actually, and the Shadow Ball is not doing much to him, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to use a different approach because I'll definitely be two-shotted if I attack him right now. But I'm gonna set up the Trick Room up for now and probably switch out. So I go into Tyranitar to get the Sand up, and I actually stay in to throw him off. So I go in for the Earthquake, and it was actually a really bad play. I mean, it's pretty obvious it's a bad play. My opponent was actually really good, so I wanted to see if I could over-predict on him, but he will one-shot Tyranitar with Drain Punch, so yeah, it was actually a really bad play on my part. But I have Garchomp here, and he's also going to Drain Punch and do a chunk of damage, but I do have the Earthquake Stab, and that will definitely one-shot it, so that's really good for me. It's looking really nice for me right now. a 4-on-2 battle. I'm gonna end up switching out into Fairthorn, and he's gonna switch out into Politoed, and it's paralyzed. It looks like he wanted to get the rain up there. I'm gonna go for the Leech Seed to make a 4 switch, but he gets a crit, and I'm not too sure if that crit mattered. Not that I needed Fairthorn too much anyway, so I'm fine with that. So I'm just gonna let the Leech Seed do most of the work here, get some health back, set up the Trick Room, and that Politoed is pretty much destroyed as soon as it comes out. The Stealth Rocks will finish Thunderous, and from here it's a 4-on-2 battle, so it's looking really bad for him. Latios is about to get one-shotted, maybe two-shotted. He's gonna go for the Draco Meteor as I heal. I knew I was gonna survive that since Cresselia has a lot of HP and special defense. He's gonna be forced to switch thanks to the special attack drop. Stealth Rocks finish Politoed, and he's down to his very last Latios. So that's pretty much it, guys. Psychic will move him to 3 hit points. He actually doesn't do too much thanks to the light screen, and one more Psychic does the job. Great game. I have to say, this is one of my most intense battles, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. MVP of the day is definitely Fairthorn. First thing you should notice about him is he's a mixed wall with good defense, special defense, and a crap load of HP as well. As you saw in the video, I used Stealth Rocks and Leech Seed to really hurt my opponent's team, and not only that, it forces him to go for the Rapid Spin, which is a physical move, which triggers Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs, which does a great amount of damage. And I also have Power Whip in case my opponent goes for the substitute and does not predict me to have an attacking move.